Hello and welcome. You are now looking at the list automation feature inside of AWeber. And traditionally, that automation allowed for individuals to do one of three things. It would allow you to unsubscribe someone from a list when subscribing to a particular list. It would allow you to unsubscribe from a list when you were unsubscribing from a list. It would allow you to be subscribed to a list when subscribing to another list. However, marketing now demands that emails be more specific, targeted, and timed. And it's for this reason that AWeber created a new automation feature called campaigns. And campaigns allow you to do more with the automation features while integrating with the traditional use of autoresponders such as follow-up messages, as well as the creation of broadcast messages. So in this course, we will look at all of the features that are basic to AWeber and then how they interact with this campaigns feature. So we'll look at the basic list creation and list settings, as well as subscriber management. We'll look at the process of form creation, as well as parsing, tracking, and reporting. And once you have the foundation for how AWeber basically operates, we'll then move to create a campaign. And we'll work through this process until the campaign is activated. Welcome back. Now to get started using AWeber, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to this manage list and then you're going to create a list. Now typically AWeber will default to your company name as you have it stated in your account, but you can place a different company name and company website in these dialog boxes for the point at which you are setting up your list. Now when you're writing in your sender name and email address, typically AWeber is going to give you a message saying that you want to avoid using free email addresses such as those that you're going to get from Google or Microsoft or some other email provider. And so once you have your sender name in, you're then going to click Next Step. This is where you're going to describe your list, and this is going to be something that's going to be seen by your customer. So you want to make sure that you write in a name where they're going to know where they signed up. In many cases, they're going to see the name of this list as well as your description if they seek to unsubscribe. So by describing this list extremely well, you could have someone come to this page and say, oh, I don't want to unsubscribe. I remember why I'm receiving email from this list. Once you do that, you'll then click Next Step. You'll then choose the language that you want your autoresponder to send messages in. In particular, you're thinking about the confirmation messages that will be sent when someone subscribes. You need to choose a specific subject line. And typically, you'll want to edit this content so that it is not generic and is specific to the list that they're going to be getting. Now, if you change any of the language, your language will need to be approved by AWeber before it can be finalized and sent to your customer. But once you've done that, you're going to click Approve Message and Create List. And you'll now be able to see your list. Now, there are more settings that need to be completed before you're ready to begin using this list. And we'll explore that in the next video. Welcome back. Now at the very bottom of your list settings, you're going to notice that you can choose to receive a notification every time someone is added to your list. And all you'll need to do is to write the name and email address in where you want the notification to come. What you'll also get is the comment that someone leaves when they unsubscribe. So if you want to know those reasons, again, you can choose to get this notification. Once you have the email address in that you want, you can then click Save. The next menu item down from Basic Settings will be the place where you can personalize your list. And you can write in an email signature as well as to dictate where you want people to see your web presence. You can also include a logo for your email address, as well as to give people opportunities to connect with you on Twitter as well as Facebook. And what this will do is this will allow you to personalize your broadcast archive. When you begin to send broadcast messages, you can give new subscribers or prospective subscribers the opportunity to see other emails that you have written in a broadcast archive. And so you do want to write in an email signature. You do want to place your logo in this area. Once you've done that, you can then preview your broadcast archive as well as your unsubscribe page. And you'll see that this is what your broadcast archive will look like. And this is what your unsubscribe page will look like. If you have standardized information that changes from time to time, and you want those changes to be present in past, present, and future emails, you can use global text snippets in order to do that. So once you have your settings, you can then click Save Settings. Now the next menu down will be your confirmation message. Now in setting up the list, we've already personalized our confirmation message. So what we can do is we can scroll down and we can determine our confirmation message settings. Now when you have this turned on, what you're doing by default is you're leaving a double opt-in system in place. If you choose a single opt-in system, what you need to do is to click off and then you'd say no. Now typically when someone is subscribed to your list, they can be sent to a default success page. That page will look like this. However, you can send them to a page of your choosing. And all you need to do is to write that page into this confirmation success page area. Once you do that, you can then click Save Settings. And your list options settings are now complete. Welcome back. Now when you first start using AWeber, it's quite possible that you may have subscribers from another list, or you may have subscribers that you may have met personally and you want to add them to the list that you created. And so to do that, you're going to go to the subscribers area, and the first place you're going to go is going to be the Manage Subscriber link. And once you get there, you're going to click this link that says Add Subscribers. Now there are two ways to add subscribers. One way, if you want to add more than 10 subscribers at a time, you're going to use a CSV file with the name and email addresses of the individuals that you're going to be adding. All you need to do is to click this button, and then you're going to then click this link in order to add the CSV file. And once you upload the CSV, you're going to want to make sure that the subscriber information is matched appropriately. We want to make sure that their email is going to match the email that's going to come across in the CSV file, and we can also match up the first name. Once we have the mapping done completely, we can then click Next. Now AWeber is going to ask you a series of questions. They're going to ask you how the individuals signed up. So in other words, you can state that these individuals signed up on your website, or they provided the information in person, or whether or not you purchased the list. Now generally you don't want to use a list that you purchased inside of AWeber. If this is a list of individuals that have purchased a product from you, you're going to indicate that. Or if it's some other reason, you'll click this button. Now if you choose that these individuals purchased a product, you're going to want to provide the URL, and you're going to want to describe that purchase in this dialog box. And then you're going to want to say whether or not these individuals were told that they'd be added to your mailing list. You're then going to click Next. Now then AWeber is going to ask you whether or not you want to send a follow-up message to the individuals once the import has been approved. Now this would only apply if you already have follow-up messages set up inside of your AWeber. Now the next question is going to regard whether or not you want to have these individuals to opt in again to your list. You can choose this button if you want these individuals to get a confirmation message for them to click on in order to become double opt-in subscribers, or you can choose that they would not receive a message. You can then click Next. Now the last thing that you can do will be to tag the subscribers, and this is part of using the campaigns feature. And you can write in the tags here inside of this import area that you want these individuals you're going to be importing, so that you'll be able to identify them in an automated fashion inside of campaigns. And once you've determined that, you can then click Finish Import, and you will then go through an approval process for the individuals that you're trying to import. Now for the sake of this video, we're not going to complete this process, but you would click the Finish Import button. Coming back to the Add Subscribers page, we can click Add Subscribers, and we can manually add one subscriber at a time, up to 10 per session. And so what we can do is we can write in the name, the email address, and then we can write in any tags that we want these individuals to have in this area. And again, this is going to facilitate us being able to have these individuals as part of campaigns. Welcome back. Now, another basic use of AWeber is to be able to create a sign-up form for your subscribers to add their name and email address, whether they come to an AWeber created link or to your website. And you can do that by going to this area for sign-up forms. And AWeber will tell you that this is a way to collect subscribers. Now, of course, there are integrations with other systems on Facebook, some of the other website creators, WordPress, PayPal, and Shopify. But the most basic way will be to create a sign-up form in HTML and place it on your website. Now, when you create a form, you will be able to design that form according to the kind of subscribers that you want. Typically, if you go to the more popular templates, you're going to find a basic template. And if you click that template, the basic template, and load it, you're going to look, and it's going to have a checkered background. That basically means that it's going to be transparent when placed on a website. So whatever your website's background is, it'll remain that even with this form. So what you want to do is you want to then design the form. You want to add or take out anything that you want to add to that form, and then you're going to save it. Now, in general, you'll collect a name and email address at minimum. You can widen out that form. You can change the size or the font, and you can change the submit button. Once you have your form looking the way you want, you'll save the form. You'll then go to the next step. You'll then need to determine some basic settings. You want to give your form a name. You can choose the kind of page that your subscribers is going to land on. You can choose an audio version or a smart video version, which will show them what to do when they are trying to confirm. You can send them to a custom page with your own URL, or you can keep them on the page where they are subscribing. And AWeber will allow you to preview what any of these will look like by clicking this preview button. So for example, if we can see what it will look like here. Now, there are some advanced settings that we can look to add in here. So for example, if someone comes through a certain way, we can decide on the exact message that we want this individual to see. So for example, we don't have to start the individual with the first follow-up. We can start the individual with any follow-up that we want here in this area. So once we've made these decisions, we can then click go to step 3. We'll then need to save our form, and then our form will be ready for publishing. What we can do is we can then install our form on our website. We'll just click that link. We can then grab this JavaScript snippet, or we can grab the raw HTML version. Now, if we install the JavaScript, once we add this to our website, if we make any changes to the form, those changes will update automatically on our website. If we use the static HTML version, we'll have to come back and re-add this form if we make any changes to the form by editing in AWeber. So we're going to take this JavaScript snippet, copy it, and then we're going to head to our website. We'll then add in our code. We'll then preview our new post. If we like how it looks, we can then click publish, but basically we now have a form on our website where individuals can then write in their name and email address and be added to our subscriber list. Hello and welcome. Now, when you need to send an email in real time or at a specific time, you're going to do that using a broadcast message. What you'll do is you'll go into your Messages tab, and then you're going to click inside of this link that says Broadcast. That's going to bring you to this page. And you can use any of the following dialog boxes. You can use the drag and drop email builder, or you can send a plain text message. Now, when you send the drag and drop email builder, you will be sending that email in HTML. However, you will have the option of also giving your readers a plain text option. Now, when you're writing your email, you can choose to use any of the templates that AWeber has available, or you can use a plain template allowing you to write straight to the document. Now for the sake of the video, we're going to cut and paste some text into the field. So we're going to overwrite content that's already there, and we're going to place our content inside of the writing space. When using the broadcast, you do have personalization tools. The default will be first name fixed. You do have other personalization options, which you can use subscribers information. You can also use your subscribers location, and you can use any snippets that you create. So what you have is you have a WYSIWYG editor, which you can use to make your email look exactly the way you want. So what you can do is you can create spaces, as you can do here. You can also size up the entire text. You can create some text that's going to be bold, and you can create some text that's going to be italics. You can create hyperlinks inside of your text. All you'll need to do is you'll need to highlight the content you want to hyperlink. You're going to click this hyperlink. Then you're going to write in the link where you want it to go. And when you have a good link, AWeber will show you a green checkbox here. That means you're good to click OK, and then your link will be in place. You can always change your column alignment, as you can see it here. You can add a column to the right, and that'll actually push your content and make the margins smaller. And you can add in any of the other elements that you see here. For example, you can drag and drop a video into your space, and then all you'll need to do then is you'll need to change the properties, which you'll see here on the right hand side. If you decide you don't want the video, you can delete the video from your email. Now, what you'll want to do when you've completed your writing is you'll want to come down to the bottom, and then you'll want to save what you've written. But you don't want to exit this area first. What you want to do first is then go to this area for your plain text email so that you can format the plain text email. And what you'll see is that the email does not format quite correctly. So you're going to need to go into this custom area, and then you're going to need to reformat your plain text email so it looks the way you want when someone receives it also. Once you have it looking the way you want, you can then click Save and Exit. And then your broadcast email will be ready to send. Now, what you'll want to do then is you'll want to then click Preview and Test. You can then send this test message to your email so you'll see how it looks, as well as whether or not it's going to hit the inbox of your subscribers. In this case, you may want to send your test to one of the cloud-based email systems like Gmail or Microsoft. Once you conclude that your email is going to send, you can then click Save and Exit. You'll then see that your draft email is in position to be sent. One other thing that you can do is you can click this link that says Spam Score. Now, this will not guarantee that your email is going to hit the inbox. However, it will determine whether or not you have things in that email that are going to be openly hostile to the various cloud-based systems like Gmail and or Microsoft. Now, we're going to stop the video right now, and we're going to pick it up at the point of sending a broadcast and looking at the broadcast options. Once you're then ready, you can then click Send Options. You can then click Schedule Broadcast. You're going to have 4 dialogues that you want to go through. The first is creating your broadcast archive. Now, this is going to make your email public to the search engines. Now, if you don't want to have it public to the search engines, you can disable your broadcast archive for this email. It's here that you can also have your email directly sent to your social media, such as Facebook and or Twitter. Once you've completed this dialog box, you can then click Apply. You can then click Edit. Now, if you have other lists, you can have this email sent to the other individuals on those lists. And to do that, in some cases, all you'll need to do is to click this button that says Include All Lists. If you want to make sure that individuals on other lists are excluded, you can exclude all lists or exclude individual lists. Once you have the lists included in the email that you want to have receive this message, you can then click Apply. You can then schedule your message. So what you can do is you can then click this edit button. You can then determine when you want the email to be sent. If you just want it to be sent right now, you don't have to do anything in terms of a schedule. But if you want to schedule it for a specific time, you can do that. And all you'll need to do then is change your email to the time that you want the email to be sent. Once you do that, you can then click apply. Now, if you want to tag your automations, this is the point at which you're going to be using your campaigns. And we will discuss this in a later video. You then can decide whether or not you want to track clicks from this particular email, and then you can have the email's progress sent to you by your email. And once you've determined that your broadcast email is ready to be sent, you can then click Schedule Message. This email will then be ready to send to your subscribers. Now, one thing that you can do is you can then copy this email. You can copy this email to a different list if you want to send it that way, or you can go back into your settings. Now, if you decide that what you want to do is you want to send the email now, you can click this settings button. You can then go back to when you want this to be sent. You can make this time closer to the time you want it to be sent. You can then click apply. You can then click schedule. And then the email will go out at the point at which it's time to send. Welcome back. Now, the other kind of email that AWeber sends is called a follow-up email. And this is an email that is sent on your behalf whenever someone joins your list at a particular time on specific days. And so one of the things you can do with your existing broadcast emails is once they have been sent, is you can then copy them to your draft settings. And once they've been copied to the drafts, you can then look at your drafts. And then in your sending options, you can click this down arrow and you can click Add to Follow-up Series. That email will then become part of the series that your subscribers will receive automatically as a result of signing up to your subscriber list. Now, you'll notice that this email is sent immediately upon subscription. You can add emails to this series to come after this first email. What you can do in your series is you can use other broadcast messages, or you can write them from scratch. And if you want to use your existing broadcast messages, all you need to do is to go to the Send Options area and click Add to Follow-up Series. Now, what you're going to notice is that you have some options. First, you can change the title of this follow-up. You want to save it, you can click this green check mark. You can decide to send this any number of days after the first email or the previous email. For example, we can make this 2 days after the previous email. We can decide that we want this email to be sent at a specific time for each subscriber. And we can also send the messages based on the subscriber's local time. Once we've done that, we can then click Add to Follow-up Series. And you'll notice then that we have a series of emails. Now, what's going to happen is that every subscriber that signs to our subscriber list is going to get this series of follow-ups. And we can continue to create these follow-ups so that the individuals will get these messages according to the date and time that they sign up. Now, this is the precursor to campaigns, and we can do a lot more with these kinds of messages once we start to use campaigns. But for now, just to learn the basics of sending auto-response emails, you can use your follow-up series. Welcome back. Now, AWeber will allow you to update your subscribers every time you update your blog. And you can do that through what they call their blog broadcast. Now, what you'll need in order to set up a blog broadcast is you will need the RSS feed of your blog. So once you have it handy, what you'll need to do is to come to this Messages area. You'll come all the way to the bottom and it says Blog Broadcast. You're going to click that link. That's going to bring you to this page. And you're then going to click Create a Blog Broadcast. The first thing you're going to be asked for is that RSS feed URL. You're going to place it in this box. Now typically when you have a WordPress blog, your feed URL is going to be the URL / and the word feed, then another /. Now when you write in the subject line, this is the subject line that's going to appear every time your blog post has an update. So you want to make sure that you title this appropriately. And you can then write your message. Now if you want to use any of the templates that AWeber has for your blog, you can do that. So for example, if you want to use a template to give your post a certain look, you want to give it a different look than your email, you can do that. But again, you want to write a basic message that indicates that you know that this is going to be sent to your subscribers every time that there is an update. Once you have your message, you're then going to scroll down. You'll then want to write a plain text message. You'll then determine when you want the post to be sent. And you can have the post created immediately or at a specific time every day. Then you can determine how often your blog posts are going to be sent. You can determine a specific number of posts that should be present when the post is sent out. You can send it on specific days of the month or send automatically. So once you've determined the parameters, you can then click Save Blog Broadcast. So you can go back and you can take a look to see you can go back inside and you can look to see which of your posts are going to be broadcast to your subscribers. And you can always check as to when your posts were last downloaded and when your blog broadcast was last updated. Welcome back. Now you can also set up basic list automation rules. And to do that, what you would do is go to this list options area, and then you're going to click on this link that says list automation. That's going to bring you to this page. And basically what it allows you to do is it allows you to create 3 kinds of actions for anyone that comes to your particular list. You can unsubscribe them from a particular list when subscribing to another list. You can subscribe them from this list when they unsubscribe from another list. And you can subscribe them to this list when they subscribe to another list. And you can determine that from the list that you have already set up here in this area in this drop-down box. If you click this drop-down box, you'll see a selection of all of the lists that you have previously created. So for example, what we can do is we can say that we want to subscribe them to this list when they subscribe to this specific list. And we're going to click Save Automation Rule. So that means then that whenever we get a subscriber to this particular list, they're also going to be added to the list that we're working on right now. Now, one of the limitations of these automation rules is that AWeber suggests that with them that you only create 1 rule per list. And this does not necessarily always capture the complexity at which you want to have individuals added or subtracted from a particular list or to receive specific messages. And that really is what we're going to be doing with the campaigns feature. Now, one of the key features of assessing whether or not your campaigns or even your emails are going to be effective is to be able to track individuals as they make progress through your website. And you can do that through the AWeber Analytics. So to access this tool, you're going to go to this Reports menu. You're then going to click Settings. That's going to bring you to this page. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this code and you're going to place it inside of your website. And you're going to copy and paste this on specific web pages above the body tag. So what you want to do is you want to copy this code, head over to your website, and then place the code on the specific page you want to track. Once you have the code in place, you'll click Continue to Step 2. And then you'll write in the site address where you placed the code. Then what you'll do is you'll pick specific pages that you want to track when individuals land on, depending on what kind of goal these people are helping you to achieve. So if you want to track sales, if you want to track a page hit, or any of the other statistical information, you can track it on a specific page. You can describe it here in this area. If you know that there's a specific monetary value to the individual landing on the page, you can write that here in this box. Once you do that, you can then click Add. You'll then come to this Reports area in the same menu, and then you'll click Send a Message. And once you send the first message, you'll then be tracking all the activity on the site that which you set to track. Welcome back. Now once you enter the Reports tab, what you'll have is you'll have a list of reports that you have available to you for all of the emails that you have sent, as well as the clicks over time. And each of these reports are going to be individual to the list that you have available to you. And so for example, if you click this link, you can track your daily subscribers and you can track them over time. You can take it one step further and you can look at the detail of that report, and you can grab that detail and download it into a CSV file. What you can also do is you can add this report to your dashboard so that you can look at it every time you come to look at the activity for this particular list. Now, as of the recording of this video, these reports are being redesigned, and you can click this Check It Out button if it's still here. It could be by the time you're watching this video that the new reports are the standard reports. It's here that you're given a different look as well as different reports to calculate. Now, one of the things that you'll want to do is you'll want to collect names and email addresses when you make a sale, depending on what your shopping cart system is going to be. And for most shopping carts, AWeber will integrate directly with them. However, in some cases, what you may need to do is you may need to use what's called a parser. It's how AWeber is going to make sense of the data to turn it into an email address that goes into your subscriber list. So you'll want to look at these shopping carts to see if any of these are those that you're going to be working with. If it is, before you use the parsing system, you'll probably want to first go to the integration. So for example, you're looking here at ClickBank orders. But if we were to go to the integrations and we were to search for ClickBank, you'll find that integration here with your shopping cart. And all you'll need to do is to click the integration, and then you'll go through the connection process. Now in this case, you'll be given a secret key and a notification URL. What you're going to do is you're going to decide which list you're going to be adding these individuals to when they make purchases on ClickBank. You'll also see membership sites and podcasting tools, as well as lead generation services. And for example, if you were to look for membership sites and you were to type in member into the search area, you'll see that there are 25 different integrations that are available to you, even if they're available in the parser area. Now the other thing you'll want to do is you'll want to make sure that there's no custom integration already developed by the platform that you're using, and often there is. For example, if you were to use JVZoo or Warrior Plus, you'll find that they have a custom integration and you'll connect to AWeber through their platform. So with that, those are the basics of using AWeber. And we'll now begin looking at how you integrate with campaigns. Welcome back. Now throughout this course, we've seen a number of places where you'll see the application for campaigns. For example, when you're manually adding a subscriber or importing subscribers, remember that you can apply tags to those individuals when they're being added to your email marketing list. When you're creating your form, remember that you can add tags to anyone that submits your form when you're creating it. We have the ability to add custom fields, but in so doing, we don't have the ability to automate the identification of certain individuals as they travel through our marketing system. We have the ability to track them through the settings, but we don't have the ability to send them specific messages at specific times. And so to do that, we are going to use the AWeber's campaign feature. And the AWeber campaigns feature is in the messages area, and you would click this link that says campaigns, and that's going to bring you to this screen. And for the rest of the course, we're going to focus on how you use this section of AWeber to integrate with all of the other basics in order to send targeted messages at targeted times. Welcome back. Now the basic idea behind campaigns is that when individuals come into one specific list, we want those individuals to get different messages based on the actions they take. And we want those emails to be specific to them so that we can market better to them. So the first part of the process is going to involve creating a specific campaign for certain individuals inside of one specific list for a specific list. So we're going to click this link that says create a campaign. We're then going to give our campaign a name. We're then going to click create. Now before we start working with the campaign, we're going to save and exit this campaign. Now what we're going to do first is we're going to go to our messages area, and then we're going to create the specific messages that we're going to want to have inside of our campaigns. So we're going to write out the messages that we want inside of a specific campaign, that individuals that take a specific action. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our campaign list, and we're then going to start the process by clicking this button that says unsubscribe. Now basically what we're saying is the first process that's going to trigger this specific set of emails is going to be the subscription of individuals on this specific list. But the idea here is that we don't want all subscribers on this list to get this specific campaign. We only want some individuals. So what we need to do is we need to filter down this list and then determine how they're going to get the messages. And it's at this point that we enter into working with specific triggers. And that's what we're going to do in the next video. Welcome back. Now we can decide that the individuals that we want to receive the set of messages that we wrote are only going to be those who came a specific way onto our list. So for example, what we can decide is we can select an option. We can decide that those individuals are going to only come from a certain source. And we can choose that source from AWeber, or we can decide that those individuals did not come from a specific source. So if we want to say that the individuals that we're going to have receive a specific list only came through an API, we can indicate that. Or if we want to write a different set of campaign messages for individuals that did not come from an API, but that did come to this list, we're going to have them receive another campaign. So in this case, we're going to say that the source for this particular set of messages is going to be for those that came through an API. We could also decide that we could have individuals that came by email that were imported. We can have them receive a specific, or those that come from web form. So as you can see, we could create a different message for all 5 different sources as they come into one particular list. We can add on to that API if we want it. We could say that we can add a second filter that we only want the individuals that receive this message to be from a specific country. So basically what we're doing here with the trigger and in working with the canvas is we're determining the source and for what this source is going to trigger in terms of messages and actions. Welcome back. Now that we've determined the source, what we can do is we can choose a specific action that we want to happen. And we can have one of 3 things to happen. We can either send a message to the individuals that come through a specific way, we can have some wait time before something happens, or we can apply a tag inside of the campaign. So in this case, what we would do is we may select send a message. Now, once we get to this space, what we're going to do is we're going to choose or create a specific message. Now, if you're going to be writing campaigns, you typically want to have written your messages already before you start this process. So what we're going to do now is we're going to choose a specific message. And we're going to choose this message, and we're going to click select. So now we have a specific message that's going to happen when individuals come through a specific source. We can then add in a second message. And we then have a second message in our campaign. Of course, we have 3 messages, so what we're going to do is we're going to click send a message. We're going to drag this into the canvas, and we're going to choose the 3rd message. So basically what we've said within one list, that individuals that come by API are going to receive a specific set of messages that we've written in advance and that we're going to be tracking through the process. Now what you'll notice next is that each of these actions has its own set of automations, and we're going to cover that in the next video. Welcome back. Now for each action, we're going to choose some specific automations that we want to happen with the individuals that get this message. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Add Automation, and we're doing this automation for this action. So by clicking Add Automation, you're going to have a dialog box to open. And now we're going to choose another trigger. So what we can do is we can say that if we have an individual that opens this message, we want something specific to happen. If the individual opens the message, we can say we want something to happen if they click a link. What we're going to do is we're going to say we want something to happen if the individual opens a message. So then we have some choices. We can say we want the subscriber removed from a campaign, or we can add a specific tag. We can then write in the tag that we want the individual to be identified by. If the individual was already tagged, we could say that we want the individual removed from certain tags. So for example, if we assume then that when an individual opens an email, they move from dormant status to active status, we could remove this tag from that individual if we had already done it. But in this case, what we're just going to say is that when an individual opens the message, we're going to classify them as active, and we're going to click Apply. We can then add in a second automation. We can say that if the individual clicks a link in the message, we can then have them added with something specific. We can then say if the individual clicks a specific link, we can add a specific tag and then add the action. Now in this case, this tag is not going to be added because our message doesn't have links, but if it did have links, we could then add this tag for anyone that gets this message, opens it, and then clicks a specific link. So now that we've done our customization, we can save and exit, and we are ready then for editing and activation. And once you save and edit your changes with this campaign, you're then going to have your campaign and it's going to be ready. In order to activate it, all you'll need to do is to click this green button, and then all new subscribers will then be added to your campaign. You can then go back and close the campaign. You can actually stop the campaign without closing it. And you'll notice then AWeber will start tracking statistics on your campaign. Now what you can do is you can go back inside to the campaign and you can edit that campaign. So for example, we can add another filter, or we can even change the source. So for example, we can change the source from API to web form. And then all we need to do in order to make this campaign active is to save and exit and then activate the campaign again. We can add triggers to any of the actions. So for example, if we go back to this message, we're going to have to click on top of the message, and then we can change the actions and remove them in this area. So in this case, what we do is we click Remove, and then we'd add in the new automation. Once we complete our changes to the campaign, we can then click Save and Exit. And the campaign remains active as long as we either paused it, closed it, or stopped it. In conclusion, when you create a campaign, one of the things you can do to vary the conditions is when you go back in to edit your campaign, is you can add wait time as a specific action. So for example, what we can do inside of the canvas is we can take this wait time and we can place it in between messages. So there will be at least 1 day of wait time between each action. We can then click on this action, and then we can change this action. We can make it 2 days, or we can make it a certain number of minutes, days, weeks, or months. We can also add in a new send window and set in a custom time. Once we've added in our wait time, we can then click Save and Exit, and basically what we've done is we've customized our campaign to coincide with a specific event. Perhaps maybe we're doing something on a weekly basis and we want a certain message to reach individuals in time for that specific event. And of course, what we can do is we can decide that if someone makes it to this stage in the sequence, we can then apply a specific tag as a result of making it to this step. So basically, we have a way of customizing our campaign using wait time and then adding in tags to close out the campaign. Hello and welcome. Now, the AWeber list segmentation feature called campaigns is based on two standards. When you look to create that campaign, the most basic one is on subscribe, which allows you to segment and send messages based on where and how a visitor subscribes, even if they're part of the same list. Now, there is also a different kind of campaign, and that is called the tag-based campaign, when a tag is applied to a specific visitor. And this is relevant through many parts of AWeber, but in particular, even when you're running a subscriber-based campaign, you can apply a specific tag under specific circumstances. And you can see that when you're customizing actions inside of a subscriber-based campaign. So in this course, we're going to do two things. We're going to go through setting up a tag-based campaign, as you see here on the right-hand side. And once we do that, we're going to look at how you can manually tag all of your subscribers. We'll then walk through setting up an entire campaign from beginning to end using both tag and subscription-based campaigns. Welcome back. Now, tag-based campaigns start at the campaign editor. And if you start not from on subscribe and you start by assuming that a certain tag is applied, you can then create a specific set of messages with specific actions. So assuming that one of your visitors has already been tagged inside of your system, you can then start creating messages. So if we were to write in a specific tag, we can then create a set of conditions for this individual to get messages. We can also make sure that only certain individuals get those messages by excluding individuals with other tags. Now what we've done is we've created a subset of individuals that we're going to be working with in order to send messages using our action system. And you'll notice that we can then create a series of automations based on what this individual does. In fact, one of the things we can do is we can apply another tag to this individual so that, again, we can create another campaign solely based on the actions that this individual has taken, as well as removing a subscriber from a campaign. So if we were to say we wanted to add a specific tag, we can then have them removed from other tags. And then we can click apply. You'll now notice how we can create complexity. In other words, we have tagged an individual that has come through our system that has already been tagged, and then we've removed that tag to put them into another category. We can then run another campaign based on our new tag. And so as a result, we may want to then start looking at ways at which we can tag our existing subscribers, as well as to make sure that all of those that are coming through our marketing funnel are tagged appropriately. And we're going to look at that in the next portion of the course. Welcome back. Now, one of the ways we can tag new subscribers is to make sure that our sign-up forms are all labeling people as they join our email marketing list. So for example, if we were just to edit, we can do this by editing a form. So in this case, we're going to click Edit. And all we need to do is on the left-hand side is we can then write in the tags that we want individuals to be segmented with. And once you've done that, all you'll need to do is then save your form. And then if you're using a JavaScript form, that form will then be changed so that every individual that comes through that form will then be tagged with the tag that we've just written here. And of course, using the form is going to be the exact same, even if we create a sign-up form from scratch. And you'll see the box for form automation here in this area. And once you do that, you'll then be able to track and send messages to individuals as they work their way through your email system. Welcome back. Now, we've already seen that you can manually tag individuals when you're adding them to your list. And so if we wanted to tag the subscriber as we added them, all we'd have to do is place their tag there in the box. But in some cases, there'll be individuals who are going to join your list, or you may not tag them going in. And let's assume then that we're just going to add the subscriber. The question is what you would do if you had to go back and you had to tag all the individuals that you've added. What you'd do is you'd go to the subscriber area and you'd click on Manage Subscribers. And what you can easily do is you can edit each individual subscriber. And all you'll need to do is to write in any tags and additional notes. Once you've added the tag, you can then click Save. And you can do the same for the other individuals. You just need to write in their specific tags. Of course, once you have it, you'll then click Save. Now, because this tag is not customer driven, we can create this tag and make it any one that we want. So for example, even if we want to go back and we want to edit the tag of a specific individual, let's assume that an individual is getting a set of messages. Maybe they've written to us, they said they're not interested. We want to take that tag away from that individual, even if we don't unsubscribe them. And that is how you manually tag individuals inside of a specific list. Welcome back. Now, if you're tagging individuals and you find that it's too tedious to tag them one at a time, you can also do a bulk tag. And you can do that by going to your subscriber screen. And then what you want to do is you want to display as many subscribers as you can. And you can do that at the bottom by viewing 100 at a time. And then what we can then do is we can then select all of our subscribers. AWeber will give you that option once you do that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come right here to the top, and then we're going to apply the tag for all of these individuals. And once you have that tag, you can then click Save. Now then AWeber will process the tag to each individual. Now this change will not be instantaneous. It is going to take some time, and AWeber will send you a message telling you that they are processing your request. We can then follow up to make sure that all of the individuals are tagged appropriately. Welcome back. Now we can copy individuals from one campaign to another campaign. And the way we can do this is we go inside of an existing campaign, and basically what we can do is apply a specific tag. So for example, we could say that once this campaign is over, we're going to wait 3 days. And then after, we're going to apply a specific tag. So we're going to drag and drop the tag here. And we're going to name this tag after 3 days something specific. We can then say we want certain tags removed. Once we have our tags, we can then click Save and Exit. What we're then going to do is we're going to create a new campaign. We're then going to create this campaign with a specific tag applied. We're then going to apply the tag that we just created. And now that we have individuals based on a specific campaign tag, we're then going to then start creating specific actions and messages. And that's how you'll move individuals from one campaign to another campaign. Welcome back. Now that you have multiple tags, you can start multiple campaigns within one list. And all you need to do is do a tag applied campaign. Now obviously when you're doing this, you'll want to keep track of the logic that you have set forth by creating a tag in campaigns initially. So in many cases what you're going to do, even when you start a new campaign, you're going to create exceptions for those campaigns already created. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to make sure that only the individuals that we want to get these specific messages are going to get them, and that this is going to be triggered by this specific tag, which was copied from another campaign. And remember, we have a number of options inside of the canvas. We can start a campaign with wait time, and then we can start a series of messages. What this does is it gives us time to make changes so that we have the most effective campaign. And once the individual starts taking actions in our campaign, we can then move the individual from campaign to campaign where our targeted messages are for specific actions. So when possible, the best way to trigger campaigns is going to be to use tags where you have identified individuals based on their actions. This will help you to be able to send targeted messages to individuals that will recognize what they've done and that you're acknowledging in your email. Welcome back. Now, one way of segmenting messages when you use AWeber is to go into the statistics and then send emails based on whether someone opened an email, whether they clicked on a link, or whether they didn't open the email. And this was primarily the way that you created segments in order to send a new broadcast email. What you can do now, when you create your message and you get ready to send it to a specific segment, you can send that segment to a specific tag. And all you need to do is to create your message. And then once you have the segment ready, you'll save it and exit. What you're going to do is you're going to go into your Manage Subscribers. And then you're going to select a specific field. And this time you're going to select a specific tag. You're going to write in the tag and then click Search. Now, once you have your subscribers here that are part of this tag, what you're going to do then is you're going to save all of those individuals as a specific segment. And then you're going to click Save for the segment. You're then going to go back to your messages and you're going to click on the drafts. That's going to bring you to this screen. And when you get ready to send your message, what you're going to do is go to your Send options and schedule a broadcast. You're then going to come to this area and you're going to click on the Edit when you're being asked who should receive this message. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to this drop down arrow and you're going to pick the segment you just created. Once you have the segment selected, you'll then click Apply. Welcome back. Now, it's quite possible you may have an email that worked extremely well as a broadcast email. However, you now like to use it as one of your campaign emails. And in order to do that, what you'll need to do is first, you'll need to find the broadcast message. And what you'll need to do then is you'll need to go to this link and you'll need to copy this broadcast specifically to the list where you have your campaign. Then AWeber will show that the list has been moved. We'll then need to go over to this list. That message will now be found in our drafts area. So if we go to our messages and we click this link that says drafts, we'll then see this message as part of our draft messages and it's now available for our campaigns. And so what we'll do then is we'll go inside of our campaigns. We'll find the campaign where we want to use that specific email and we'll open that email. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag in the place where we want that email to be. Now what we're going to do here now is we're going to choose a message and AWeber will then go looking for a message that can be found in our drafts. You'll then have a broadcast message that has been used previously inside of your current campaign. Welcome back. Now routinely you're going to have different sign-up forms for different purposes on different pages. If you have a customer that comes to each of your opt-in forms and they sign up multiple times, what's going to happen is that that individual is going to remain one person on your email marketing list. Let's assume then that this person signed up the first time and came through a page where this tag was part of the form. They'll then be added with this tag. Now if the person then signs up the next day to the same list with a different form and a different tag, they're going to have that tag added. And you'll see this happen multiple times with multiple tags. So wherever you can, you want to account for this inside of your campaign. Now it may not always be practical, but based on how you have individuals coming into your marketing funnel, remember one of the things you can do is you can have this person removed from specific tags when they're added to certain tags. And what you're accomplishing is you're making sure that one individual doesn't get multiple messages at the same time. However, now if that individual comes to your list a third time but yet comes through an API, their status or their tags will not change even if you have the API tagged. Welcome back. Now you can have an individual tagged when they come through your API. So for example, let's say that you have an after sale autoresponder set up so that everyone that purchases from you through your ClickBank link, they're going to be added to your email marketing list. and we're going to have them added specifically to a list that we have. Now in this case, we're going to have an individual tagged when they subscribe. So we're going to use the subscription-based campaign editor, and we're going to add a filter. We're going to say that the source is going to be the API. So that now anyone that's going to be added that way is then going to be part of a specific campaign. And as a result, we can then begin adding our messages, our wait time, and additional tags. And of course, we're going to customize each and every one of these with specific actions. And before we move on to the live example, there is a certain aspect of a broadcast email that's important to note. When we're using the broadcast email, we can then have automations take place when a subscriber opens a specific message that we're going to be sending. And we can add in those tags and remove certain tags when we do. Welcome back. Now we're going to walk through a live example to apply everything that has been taught regarding campaigns. And we're going to start this process by going to create a specific list. We're going to set up the company name, and then we're also going to set up our contact details. And now we're going to give this list a name. And so we're going to write in the name and description. We're then going to click Next. We're going to approve our confirmation message and then create our list. We're going to assume that the individuals joining our list are going to be coming through a sign-up form. Now the individuals that come through this form, we want them to be tagged. And so what we're going to do is we're going to write in a specific tag. And now we are going to save our form and begin to send traffic to it. Now we want the individuals that subscribe to this list to begin getting a specific set of messages. And we're going to use campaigns in order to administer those emails. And so we're going to start the process by creating a campaign. Once we do that, we're then going to click Create. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop here, and we're going to create the messages that we want the individuals in this campaign to receive. Now before we start the setup process, we're going to draft our messages. So we're going to click Save and Exit, and we are going to go ahead and exit the campaign. Now our campaign is not active, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the draft section, and we're going to start drafting our emails. So once we've written our drafts and we have them ready and titled, we're then ready to go back to our campaign and start the creation process. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our campaign, and we're now ready to choose the kind of campaign that we're going to use. And in this case, it's most appropriate that we start the process with this first campaign by making it an on-subscribe campaign. Now we've made this campaign for all subscribers. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that that's going to be the right trigger for the messages we want them to receive. So in the next video, what we'll do is we will then choose and create our campaign trigger. Welcome back. Since we're now working inside of the campaign trigger, what we're going to do is we're going to add in a filter. So we're going to click this Add Filter button, and we're going to select an option. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select the source. Now in this case, we know that the source is not going to be the API, it's going to be our web form. And so this is going to be the trigger for all of the activity that we want to happen inside of this campaign. We're going to add in another filter. In this case, we're going to say that we want the country to be specific to, in this case, we're going to say that we want it to be the UK. Now we know that we've already set up our web form so that people are being tagged when they come through it. However, we want to do something specific for our UK visitors that come through the web form. And so we're going to develop a specific campaign for our UK visitors that came through the web form. And so this essentially is going to be our trigger. And so the next, we will then start to customize the campaign specific to this particular trigger for individuals that come through the web form that are from the UK. Welcome back. What we're going to do now is we're going to save and exit this campaign, because what we now need to do is we need to further customize for those individuals that do not live in the United Kingdom. And so we're going to go back to create another campaign, and we're going to click Create. We're also going to do this one on Subscribe. We're then going to add in the same filters. However, this time, instead of the second customization, which is the country, we're going to leave that out because we want every other individual that's not part of the UK to get this campaign. And so now this campaign will cover all the other individuals that our first campaign does not cover. And so what we're going to do is we're going to select the messages. Now we've determined that this campaign is going to take the first 3 messages that we've already written. And so what we're going to do is we're going to choose those messages and we're going to add them to our campaign. So we're going to choose them one at a time. We're going to choose the first. We're then going to choose the second. We're then going to choose the third. We've determined that messages 4 and 5 are most appropriate for our visitors in the UK. Now we're now going to determine if any of these messages require additional automation. Remember, we can do that based on the action of the individuals. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the last message, and what we're going to do is we're going to add in an automation. And we're going to say that if someone opens the last message, then what we're going to do is we're going to remove the subscriber from the campaign. And then we're going to apply. So now we have our campaign ready for those individuals not from the UK. The next video what we're going to do is we're going to customize the campaign for the UK. What we're going to do now is we're going to exit our non-UK campaign. And now we're going to go back into our UK campaign. And what we're going to do now is we're going to select our messages. And so in the first message, what we're going to do is we're going to choose that message and select it. We're then going to go to the second message. We're going to choose it and select it. We're going to choose some specific customizations. So with the first message, what we're going to say is that if the individual clicks the link in there, what we want to do is we want to add them with a specific tag. And we're going to name that tag. Now to do that, what we need to do is select the specific link. And once we've done that, we can then click Apply. Now with the second message, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add in an automation that the individual clicks the link. We're going to add in a specific tag again. Once we have it, we're then going to click Apply. So now we have our 2 campaigns running side by side, one for individuals that are within the UK, the other for individuals that are not within the UK. Welcome back. Now because the campaigns are running parallel, we may decide that what we want is for these campaigns to roughly end at about the same amount of time depending on when an individual opts in. So when we're looking at the UK campaign, what we'll see is that we have 2 messages. And the default is that the second message will arrive 1 day after the first. However, one thing that we can do is we can apply wait time in order to stagger these occurrences. And so what we're going to do is we're going to grab this wait time and we're going to plug it in between the messages. And so we've determined that we want this campaign to last roughly 5 days. And so if the first message comes immediately after the person opts in, what we want to do is we want to add in 4 additional days before the second message is received. So we have 0 days, 4 days, then 5 days. Now if we wanted, we could set a custom time for that second message. But what we're going to do is we're going to settle for 4 days after the opt-in occurs for them to receive that second message. And we're now going to go over to the non-UK campaign. So we're going to click Save and Exit. And we're going to grab this campaign. And what we're going to now do is we're going to now apply wait time in a different way. So assuming that this first message occurs at time 0, and then the second message occurs at day 1, and the third message occurs at day 3. What we want to do for the 5-day campaign is we want to implement wait time. And we want that to be 1 day. And then we want to implement a second time of wait time. So we've basically made it so that these campaigns will last roughly the same amount of time, and we accomplish that using wait time between the individual messages. Welcome back. Now when you get to the end of the campaign, what you want to do is you want to transition into the next set of messages, or you want to transition into what's going to be the norm for this subscriber. And so typically what you're going to apply is going to be some wait time after the last message, and then you're going to apply a tag of some kind. Now, when you apply this tag, what you're trying to communicate is that this person has completed the messaging and now you want to move them to the next place. And so what you're going to do is you're going to write in and create a new tag and then narrow down the path for the visitor. So what we want to do is we want to remove the original tag from these subscribers. And if you recall, this tag is the one that individuals are given once they sign into the form. So once the individual ends up being tagged with this identifier, we know then that they have moved through the entire campaign and that they are still subscribed. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Save and Exit. We're now going to do the same thing with our UK campaign. We're going to apply some wait time. And then when the individual reaches the end of the series, we're then going to apply a tag. Now the difference is that the individuals inside of this campaign have also been tagged with interest in ClickBank. And they were tagged because they either clicked a link or they opened an email, which we set up through this campaign. And so basically what we've done is we've set the course for being able to create targeted and personalized messages based on the actions of the individuals inside of these campaigns. Welcome back. Now what we want to do is we want to send a broadcast message to those who have finished the campaign who have the tag permanent. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to select the field. We're going to click tag. And then we're going to write in the tag that we want. Once we have it, we'll then click search. You'll see that then narrows down our list. What we're going to do then is we're going to select this list. And then we want to use that selection to send a broadcast email. So what we're going to do now is we're going to save these individuals in a specific mailing segment for our broadcast. And then we're going to click Save. We then have a new segment in order to start sending emails. So what we're going to do once we have written out our email is we're going to schedule a broadcast, and then we're going to select a specific segment. And so what we're going to do is we're going to click this edit button, and then we're going to send to the subscribers in the segment that we specified. And once we do that, we'll be sending a broadcast message to only those individuals that have met certain criteria that we want. In conclusion, we have now created segments that we can base on whether someone clicked or opened an email, whether someone finished a campaign, or whether someone entered our web form. And we've now tagged different segments of our list. And so what we can do now is we can create tag-based campaigns. And so we can take a tag such as permanent, and we can create a specific set of messages just for the individuals that have received that tag. We can create specific messages now for individuals that have the tag interested in CV or ClickBank. And we can create a campaign just based on those who have come through the web form. So we can continually create campaigns that are going to be targeted based on actions, and we can make sure that our messages are tailored to individuals who are familiar with the action that they've taken. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.